Ladies and gentlemen, valuable guests, colleagues, and fellow sports enthusiasts, my name is Vasilis Vaganopoulos, founder of a multinational environmental volunteer movement called Saviorhood, a community-driven initiative fostering positive change. Simply put, it is a huge network of volunteers working together for cleaner, greener, and healthier neighborhoods, creating a brighter future for all. I'm honored to be here today, joining you at this momentous event, Front Runners in Sports Management, as we gather to celebrate this, the excellence and innovation in the world of sports. It is crucial to acknowledge an elephant in the room, the growing crisis of plastic pollution. That's why I'm going to share my screen right now to share some very important videos. Let's see if these shocking videos expose the devastating impact of plastic pollution on our planet. These images may be disturbing, but they are a stark reality that we cannot ignore. Where do you think these sites are? It is of the utmost importance to realize that these scenes are not happening in a country far away from us, but they are indeed scenes from our beautiful, scenic country, Greece. After witnessing these alarming scenes, I want to share with you the groundbreaking work of our organization, Saviorhood, with over 6,000 cleanups worldwide, mainly focusing in Greece and Cyprus, where we have collected an outstanding 11 million liters of plastic waste from our streets, rivers, mountains, and oceans. To put this into perspective, imagine filling the Eiffel Tower with water, and we'll pretty much have this amount of plastic waste in comparison to it. Despite our efforts, the situation is far from resolved. In Greece alone, we dispose of a staggering 4.5 million liters of plastic every day. That means in just 3 days, we generate more plastic waste than we, from Saviorhood, have collected in 3 years' time. Where does this plastic end up? A shocking 84% of it ends up in our landfills, while 6% leaks into the environment, wreaking havoc on our ecosystems. This translates to 270,000 liters of plastic waste leaking into our environment every day, even after going through our waste management system. That is more than 3 train wagons filled with litter. This, just keep in mind that it's only the waste that we dispose through our waste management system and not by just dropping it illegally. To delve deeper into the plastic crisis and explore effective solutions, I would like to introduce Mr. Konstantinos Tsoukalas, Plastic and Waste Project Coordinator at WWF Hellas. Dinos is a leading expert in this field and will share his insights on how we can collectively combat plastic pollution in sports events.
So, good morning, everyone. I'm really glad to be here. Really thanks the Sports Footprint for the invitation to this conference. And also thumbs up to Vasilis Vaganopoulos, who is moderating this discussion. He's also my friend. So let me share my screen a bit. So, can you see my presentation?
Yes.
So, oh, 1 minute. Give me 1 minute because I have some issues here. So Let me introduce myself first of all. My name is Konstantinos Tsoukalas. I'm the Plastics and Waste Project Coordinator of WWF Greece. And some things about WWF Greece, if you're not familiar with that. WWF Greece is the national office of WWF, a global network of people, scientists, volunteers, and citizens who are active in over 100 countries. WWF is one of the biggest organizations for the protection of the environment, and the WWF Greece mission is to stop the degradation of the natural environment, protect biodiversity, ensure the sustainable use of renewable natural resources, and promote the reduction of pollution and consumer waste. This is the topic that we're going to discuss about today. So, plant or plastic, it's time to choose. This is one of my favorite slides. Today, I will try to present to you in a short presentation one of the most pressing and visible environmental issues for the planet, plastic pollution. But let me start with some information on plastics and plastic waste in general. If you look around you right now, you can see plastic everywhere, from the screen and the personal computer that you attend this presentation to other everyday objects lying around you, like your smartphone, pencils, pens, and things like that. Plastics are everywhere. Plastics appeared in 20th century and they changed our daily life as they are the raw material in several everyday objects. Plastics can have an advantage because they're cheap, they are light, and also they're durable. And they are important in several sectors of our lives, such as medical industry, cars industry, technology, etc., etc. So plastics are important in our lives. More than 430,000 tons of plastic produced annually, and only the two-thirds of them have a short life cycle, and in a matter of time, they become waste. So imagine single-use plastics such as cups, straws, plastic bottles, etc., etc. Unfortunately, due to bad management and low recycling rates in several countries, plastics are leaking in the natural environment. So we live in a not so amazing plastic world. The main problem with plastic items or plastic waste is that they are not biodegradable. It can take many, many years to break down when discarded. So let me show you an example on the next slide. So as you can see, a plastic bag can take up to 20 years in order to decompose, a plastic coffee cup more than 30 years, a plastic straw 200 years, a plastic toothbrush something like 500 years. So as you can see, plastic probably will stay in this world many years than us. Almost 10 million tons of plastics end up in the oceans, and approximately each year 570,000 tons of plastics end up in the Mediterranean Sea, the sea that lies around Greece. To analyze the situation, it is like throwing 34,000 plastic bottles into the Mediterranean Sea each minute. So this is a big amount of plastic waste. But the ecological damage caused by plastic pollution is greater than we can imagine. More than 344 species have been trapped in plastic waste in the Mediterranean. Also in the Mediterranean, the main victims of plastic pollution are seabirds, fish, invertebrates, marine mammals, and sea turtles. 90% of the seabirds have a plastic particle in their stomach, and all sea turtle species living in the Mediterranean have swallowed plastics. If the situation doesn't change in 2050, there will be more plastics in the sea than fish. But plastic pollution does not affect only the animals living in those environments. Plastic can travel through the food chain in human beings. Each one of us is exposed to plastic pollution, and each one of us unknowingly swallow a small amount of plastics in microplastic form. Even from plastic bottles that they degrade inside the bottle, beers, food, etc., etc. Microplastics end up inside of us through the food chain, and we can swallow up to 5 grams of plastic per week. It's like swallowing a credit card. So I don't want to scare you, but I really don't like the idea of eating 5 grams of plastic each week. Let's see some things about plastic pollution in Greece right now. Our country produces about 700,000 tons of plastics per year. If we want to translate this is per capita, it's something like 68 kilos per capita. And less than 20% of plastic waste in Greece is recycled. Approximately 11,500 tons of plastic waste ends up in the Greek Sea. Inadequate waste management systems, the existence of illegal landfills, as Vasilis showed to us in the previous presentation, pollution from shipping activities, high tourist income, and uncontrolled dumping by citizens are some of the factors that worsen the problem. Inadequate law implementation, inefficient management systems, low recycling rate, and absence of separate waste sorting also amplify the problem. Now let's take a look on the situation on Greek beaches based on the data collected from Adopt a Beach project. Adopt a Beach is the marine litter monitoring program of WWF, where volunteer teams are trying to collect data from 100-meter samples on Greek beaches in order to have an overview of the situation. Right now, something like 160 teams are participating, and they collected a lot of data. So I would like to present you the most common findings in Greek beaches, and some of them they're also related with sport industry, but we will talk about that later on. The number one is cigarette butts. So here in Greece, we are heavy smokers, and we have also the bad habit to try to dig the cigarette butts in the beaches. Plastic particles bigger than 2.5 centimeter. Plastic straws, and this is something that, this is a little bit weird because from 2021, July 2021, there's a law banning plastic straws, but we still see them in the beaches. Also, we can see them, in all cafeterias, bars, and etc., etc. Plastic cups, plastic pieces of styrofoam, plastic bags, strings, bottles, cups, etc., etc. As you can see, the biggest amount of plastic found in Greek beaches are single-use plastics related with people that use, and visit the beach. So moving forward, I will try to bridge the gap between plastic pollution and sports industry. Plastic pollution in the environment can have a direct impact on the sports we love. Some of the most common plastic items that we can meet in big sports events, such as football matches, marathons, etc., etc., most of times are single-use plastics. So we use them for only a couple of minutes and we dispose them. There are plastic bottles, plastic cups, athletes' clothing and wristbands, clappers, toys, balloons, other advertisement things, food containers, straws and wraps, flags and other decorations, deliveries wrapped in plastic, etc., etc. Note that although clothes are not single-use, most of the times they're made from synthetic fibers. So when we wash them, microplastics leaks in the environment during the washing. Some key facts now and some numbers of the amount of single-use plastic used in major sporting events. Major sporting events can generate up to 550,000 plastic bottles. In some international football matches, more than 100,000 cups of beers could be served. It's equal with 100,000 single-use plastic cups. Approximately 20 million plastic cups used at all NFL games in one season. That's enough cups to fill around 33 football fields. And here in Greece, more than 12 tons of waste, most of them it was paper and plastics, was produced during the 37th Greece's authentic marathon. So some things here that we can do to reduce single-use plastics in sports events. Well, stop the use of single-use plastics such as straws, bottles, bags, etc. Communicate with suppliers to reduce and redesign or remove plastic packaging from our supplies. Use reusable or returnable plastic cups. Now there are a lot of alternatives with multiple use cups, so we can use them and return them back. Also install water refill systems. Try to find and replace cups, cutlery with alternative materials that are easy to recycle or compost. Use reusable, returnable plastic cups and install, with all this. Sportswear that probably may be they produce from natural fibers such as cotton and not plastic or polyester and things like that. Install recycled bins in common view, and of course communicate this plastic reduction plan with people that visit the fields. And some things that we can do on our own, also athletes, etc., to reduce our plastic footprint. First of all, reduce and refuse, and we say no to single-use plastics, and we try to skip products with plastic packaging. We reuse, try to carry a reusable lunchbox, bottle, cup, shopping bag. Now we have lots of alternatives in 2024, let's say. And of course, learn how to recycle properly. Although the recycling rate is low, I think it's our responsibility to try and recycle in a proper way. As my presentation came to an end, I would like to close with this. Sports industry has the ability to motivate and inspire large numbers of people towards a more sustainable way of living, and I think that together is possible to move forward with this. So, thank you.
Thank you, Dinos, for your insightful info and for providing us with actionable steps to combat plastic pollution in sports events. We will not have time for questions, unfortunately, because we're a bit late. In conclusion, we must acknowledge that the plastic crisis is a global challenge that demands a collective response. Sports events, with their large crowds and extensive consumption, play a significant role in intensifying this problem. However, they also present a unique opportunity to educate, inspire, and implement sustainable practices. Thank you for your attention to this critical issue. Let's work together to build a sustainable future for sports and our planet.